Hello, I'm Stefano Ark, and I'm going to answer 10 questions back to French. Stefano Ark, or you can call me the Martian, I don't mind either which, just make sure it's Stefano Ark or the Martian only and nothing else. I'm from London originally, but I'm currently based in Manchester. Love it here, I've been here for 4 years, and I'm happy to call it home. In regards to what I do, I'm a musician, I make music, but in regards to my music, I produce, I write, I compose, I rap, I sing, I do pretty much everything in regards to music and composition wise. So yeah, that is me. That's a really good question. So I'm very inspired by life itself. I'm a big fan of psychology and social psychology and neuroscience. I just love how, you know, everything is interconnected and there's no such thing as a truly unique experience, and how we're still discovering so much about the human mind and consciousness is very interesting. Music is mainly horror and sci-fi. So I started writing songs when I was 9 years old, and I used to write 5+ songs a day. And when I went on to actually compose in horror sound schools, and I went on to study this in college, then I was more into commercial sounding songs, and this is where I fell in love with hip hop and pop more, and just learning how to really construct a song and a song that works. And now I make sure I do that and add, you know, a flair of Stefano Ark, a flair of horror, a flair of sci-fi, and a flair of all my influences. So yeah, I'm very inspired by Alfred Hitchcock, very inspired, and other sci-fi genres, as mentioned previously. Wes Craven is a great director and he inspires me also. And I'm also inspired by painters. So a favorite painter of mine is called Edvard Munch. He painted the very famous Scream. And if you go around my house, there's like 5 paintings. That's very specific, but it's literally 5 paintings everywhere of a adaptation of a Scream painting. And Edvard Munch also inspired Wes Craven's films. It just goes to show how each medium of art can all inspire each other. I'm very inspired by film. I go to the cinema and I watch a horror film, and when I leave, I've taken in how changes in scenes, particular frames, such as establishing shots, long shots, close-ups, how frame cutting, little things helped, you know, build suspense and fear within the audience. So what I've always loved about horror and Alfred Hitchcock is how he understood the psychology of fear, understood the psychology of human nature and the dark sides of human nature, and he studied that and delved deeper into that. And I can relate to that a lot because that's what I do with my music. I delve into psychology, neuroscience, you know, astrophysics, and delve into how all things are interconnected within our consciousness, and I put them together and make them into music. So if I could describe my music in a few words, I would say interstellar cinema. So interstellar cinema, that's me. Interstellar cinema. Currently my playlist right now is Kendrick Lamar released a new album, and a song called Man in the Garden is really connecting with me currently, where I am currently in my life and in my journey. I have my 2000s, you know, gems as well on my playlist, such as the skip break stuff, Chop Suey by System of a Down. Yeah, so on Human League, Don't You Want Me? Yeah, just banger after banger, slap after slap. My playlists are very chaotic. It goes from like Wolfgang Mozart to System of a Down to Kendrick Lamar to Enya. It's just, life's about balance, okay? Before you judge me, life's about balance. And my playlist, plural, translate that. So my current go-to dish to cook is sweet potato pie. I'm still good at cooking that. And I can cook other things, obviously, in my air fryer. No, I can actually cook, it's just I'm busy all the time. And cook, air fryer. But when I have time to cook, and I want to start cooking more, I definitely go for my sweet potato pie, because it's savoury. You can make a savoury version or a dessert version, and it's You know when you cook some food and you're like, okay, I'm hungry and my air fryer's effort is about to cook, so I want to go in the fridge and grab something. I'm like, where's my sweet potato pie I made? And people put milk on it, you know, or if I make a savoury version, I can turn it into dinner for that day. So yeah, that's my go-to dish that doesn't involve an air fryer. The reason why I have the Martian aesthetic within my music is it's nothing forced. I didn't sit down and think, what am I going to call myself? It's just me owning how I felt, and it's owning something I used to dislike about myself and me accepting it and just being my authentic self. Growing up, I did feel very different from my peers. I was segregated a lot from people due to my neuro-divergence, and unfortunately growing up it caused me to develop a poor sense of self, and I felt like I had to change who I was to fit in. Looking back, I would have been a lot happier if I was just myself and owned who I was, but I was only young and I've had to forgive myself, you know, for not accepting who I was as an individual. And now when I look back at myself and look in the mirror, it's very interesting because I see the person I was always meant to be. This is how I envisioned myself looking when I was younger, but I was so afraid of expressing myself due to being judged once a child, and I repressed all aspects of Stefano Ark, which I shouldn't have, but society forced me to, and now I'm just being my true self. I'm being a Martian I always was, and I've just owned being that. So yeah, with the whole Martian persona, I do like to call myself a Martian, because I am the Martian, but it's just not like, it's not a thing where it's like, oh, I'm the Martian and you're not. We all feel like a Martian from time to time, which, you know, there's a lot of systems being placed in our society that's forced many of us to feel this way, and I do strongly believe that we've already started doing it already, moving towards an era of understanding consciousness, sense of self and self-acceptance. And yeah, despite cycles repeating itself within our politics and within our government and within our world, I do believe cycles exist for a reason, and they're helping us to understand ourselves better through trial and error. That's how I got here, and that's how I'm still progressing through cycles. And yeah, so that's my story and regarding being a Martian. Neil deGrasse Tyson for sure. I just find him so interesting, and just his perspective on science and space. I'll just say, please strive to be yourself and be authentic, and if you're struggling with this, it's okay. Life's a journey and everyone's journey is unique.